Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you're great.
So this is my niece, Ashton, and she and I are going to do a intergenerational Cobra Kai review. We're going to review the new Cobra Kai series on YouTube Red. And this is our second viewing of the series. We're probably going to have to do installments because the first time we watched it...
It took us like 5 hours.
It took a long time. We watched all 10 episodes like back to back. And we paused and we talked about them and things. We should have probably recorded that initial viewing, but we're going to record the second.
Because then you could hear all my screaming.
Yeah, we'd be watching you cry and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to get to see that again?
Yes, honestly.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
I like how you're like, it took a really long time.
So I don't know how much of the of Ashton's generation are into Karate Kid.
No one.
Nobody. She's been discovered in the 80s. And so it was actually kind of like synchronous. She had just been like really getting into Karate Kid. And
like I had watched it when I was younger, but the thing is I didn't like it, and Maggie was always like, "Oh look, the Karate Kid's on, let's watch the Karate Kid," and I was like, "No." But the only scene I ever liked from the Karate Kid was the Halloween dance scene where like Allie and Daniel are like getting close and stuff, because I thought it was really cute, and I liked how he was like in the shower and stuff. But other than that, I didn't really like the Karate Kid. Oh, and the shirtless scenes of him in the ocean. That's the only other good part that I thought when I was younger.
Sure, that's not what you're thinking like now.
It's everything that I love. Everything.
Because Ralph Macchio shirtless is not like... It's not a man's man.
You're not a man's man.
That's kind of true.
Yeah, Mr. Playboy Bunny Tattoo over here.
Hey.
No, you can't say anything.
So yeah, we're going to watch episode by episode, and we're just going to like make video responses as we go along, pause if we want to talk, and or we might summarize at the end of the episode. Who knows? And who knows how many we'll get through tonight? Probably 3 or 4, and then there'll be another video later down the road.
There might be a snake call, though.
Yeah, we might get interrupted. I've had 5 rattlesnake calls today, so we don't know.
Go along.
We don't know if we're going to get through our viewing without having a snake call intervene, but that's cool.
So we're probably going to do 2 parts of the review, so then this one, and then like episodes 5 to 10, or are we going to do like 3 parts of this?
We might have to do. All right, so we're getting toward halfway through episode 1, and we've kind of seen Johnny Lawrence's life so far. Like Johnny, after he got beat, in the tournament with Daniel, laying on the ground, and then they transition into him laying in bed, and he's basically still knocked out in life, right? And everybody's treating him like crap. He's working a shitty maintenance job. He's living in an apartment complex.
He was working a shitty maintenance job.
Yeah, he was working a shitty maintenance job. He got thrown off because he's got no filter, right? As we're going to learn in this series, Johnny's got no filter, so there was a client and he told her to quit bitching at him, and she said, what did you call me? But anyway, we've seen Johnny but just be totally disrespected by a rich bitch, disrespected by, like, he's in a convenience store trying to buy pizza, and the clerk is like holding his pizza and won't put it on a plate. It's gross. Disrespected by these teenage kids who walk past him and like blow vape in his face. Disrespected by this pretty girl who he says hello to, and she's like creep and runs off. He's just being disrespected by everybody. And then, but there's this kid, this goofy new kid that moved into his apartment, not unlike Daniel LaRusso in the original Karate Kid.
No. Daniel LaRusso is like a 10. Miguel is like a 2.3.
But it's the same kind of circumstances. You got a maintenance guy in an apartment complex, and you got this new kid. Me and my mom just moved in,
I know, but it's also different in a way, because like yeah, I see that they're like trying to make it the same thing from the first one, but then it's also kind of like, well, there's so many different factors about it.
Yeah, it's different, and we're definitely going to learn this is a different character, Miguel, than Daniel. So, but he's in the situation where Daniel is. He's the new kid, and he's getting picked on by the bully kids, right?
So,
right?
Yeah, but then he becomes like kind of a bully at the end, though.
Yeah, but we're not there yet. And
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, for sure he's not the same character, but it's kind of the same. It's a similar setup, probably to bring us into this, like, you know, so we feel like we're in a Karate Kid movie, right?
Yeah.
So okay, so we're almost halfway through the episode, and we're at a scene where Miguel, the new kid, is getting beat up by the bullies in the parking lot of the convenience store. And here's one of the things about this whole series for me, because I grew up in the 80s, I'm a kid of the 80s, and I trained martial arts in the 80s to start with. And so when I saw trailers for this film, one of my big fears about this like whole series about what was going to happen with it, because I've been like, all kinds of media is coming out for my generation right now. They're producing nostalgia film after nostalgia film. Even the Star Warses and all of that, that's still to serve nostalgia of my generation. So there's so much of that going on that I feared they were going to wreck this. And one of the ways I thought they would wreck it was making the fight scenes and the martial arts 1980s style fight scenes, right? Because like I sit on a combat sports commission now. I know what real fighting's like, and we've had the UFC, and everybody knows the difference between fake martial arts and real martial arts. And you know, old style 1980s karate is really fake martial arts these days in a lot of ways. You know, like as far as the fighting part goes.
Like the
yeah, and so we're watching a scene where Johnny defends this kid.
No, he doesn't. He defends his car.
Well, yeah, the kid gets thrown onto the car. So he jumps up, he says, you know, watch the car, but then he also tells him, leave the dork alone.
Because he doesn't want anything to happen to his car, and he knows that, like, if this keeps happening, they're probably going to keep, like, pushing him on his car, and he doesn't want any trouble around his car. So it's kind of just the selfishness of it. He's not really doing it because he cares for Miguel. But then I also don't, like, I guess I do see the point where it's like he probably doesn't want to see, like, this scrawny little dorky kid get the shit beat out of him. But then it's also just for his car, really.
I don't think it's just for his car. I think he's using the car to intervene. He didn't want to intervene, really, but then he did. I could see it. He's like, I'm sitting here, there's bullying going on. I could do something about it. But, you know, that's not what life is. I'm just going to do my own thing, and this kid shouldn't have been a dork.
No. What I was thinking is he's sitting there rolling his eyes while he's just trying to have his dinner, and he's like, oh, these assholes, like, yeah, leave him alone so I don't have to listen to you punks, you know, be annoying and stuff. And he's like an older guy who's had a shitty day, and he's like, he doesn't want to have to, like, sit there and listen to that. So I really don't think it was in any way to defend Miguel.
Maybe. But I think, you know, part of Johnny's character is he was once the karate champion. There's no way a fight's going to be going on, like, right behind his back as he's eating his pizza on the sidewalk curb, and he's not going to be interested. There's no way he's not going to be interested.
I guess, but okay, the only reason I see that he'd be interested in the fight if it was like, I don't know, like the kids are punching him wrong and he's like, these kids don't know how to really fight, but he's kind of like sitting back and watching this go on. And like, I think the only time he'd intervene if it was like gonna go too far to the point where they were killing him or something.
Well, it's definitely a combination of factors. His having that really shitty day plays into it. The kid actually...
He's had a shitty life.
Yeah, he's had a shitty life, but that day has been particularly shitty because he loses his job. And then the kid, the teenage kid, the bully kid, the head bully kid, actually, like, kind of assaults him, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Pushes him, makes him lose his pizza. The disrespect, he could stand the disrespect as long as there was no hands laid on him. But that kid laid the hands on him. right? So then Johnny's got to come.
But like I just said, it was about his car. Like,
I don't think so. I mean, that's the point where like, yeah, his car is an extension of himself. So at that point, there's physical stuff going on to him as far as he's concerned, right? It's hitting his car.
Okay, but like, it's hard not to talk about the car without going into later episodes.
He's got his old car, that whatever it is, Firebird or whatever.
Yeah, like he had in the it's like a 60s car.
That red sports car. But anyway, right when the fight erupts, the very first kick he does is what I would call a reverse crescent kick, or a crescent kick. It was like an inward crescent kick, and does it to the bully guy in the face. Bully guy goes down. But anyway, as soon as he throws the kick, and after that, it looks like he grabs his hand. And he's like, like a Jackie Chan movie. If Jackie Chan, whenever he, starts off a fight, his first punch, he's always, It's what it looked like he was doing to me. But you have a different interpretation.
I thought he was holding his crotch. Because, like, he's old, and, like, he hasn't done karate in a while, so, like, he does the kick, but then he, like, probably kicked so far that his legs kind of went, like, that, and he was probably like, oh my god, my crotch,
That makes a lot more sense.
Because, like, that's a sensitive area for males.
That does make a lot more sense with the scene. I thought maybe they just edited wrong, and they had something where he originally punched, and then the next scene they messed up, and they had him worried about his hand.
No, it looked like he was holding his crotch.
He probably was. He's probably holding his crotch.
Yeah, to me it looked like he was holding his crotch.
That makes sense. Anyway, he beats up the bullies. Now I think we're going to be going into Daniel's life.
My boy. Is the camera on?
Yeah. It's okay. I have editing capabilities.
Capabilities!
That's right. Now I've got the squirt gun. No!
Oh, get off!
Squirt gun.
Bad Ryan!
I'm going to put a joint lock on her.
I thought you meant like weed.
What?
A joint lock?
No.
I understand now. Let me go.
Oh, give me the water.
I'm not gonna spray you.
Give me the water. I don't trust you.
There's food. There's bird poop on there.
Okay.
What do you mean you don't trust me? I didn't spray you.
You did last time.
Yeah, that was the last time. Have I sprayed you in the 10 minutes that I've had this in my possession?
No. But I'm just waiting for it.
Well, you shouldn't be waiting for it because nothing's going to happen.
So I was wrong. We don't get into Daniel's life until episode 2. So we are still following the Johnny train after the fight in episode 1. He goes to jail for beating up teenagers. Gets out of jail.
Rolly.
Go on, you dogs.
Rolly.
Gets out of jail, and the kid, Miguel, is, right on him as soon as he gets to the apartment, asking him about, what was that martial arts that he used and all this, and can you teach me it, and this kind of thing. Classic. Johnny doesn't want to do it, and he just tells him, if you want to avoid fights, quit being a dork. And then we see, Johnny goes home, and when he gets in his apartment, he finds his dad is there.
No, his stepdad.
Oh yeah, his stepdad. This is part of the Cobra Kai series where we really get a lot more detail on who Johnny is. So Johnny has a rich stepdad, and his stepdad is there with his personal assistant or whatever.
His nurse. Because she was like, Sid, your blood.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, his nurse. So.
My phone.
And then he's there because he wants to try to buy Matt Dillon. He wants to try to buy Johnny out of his life. So he's offering him a check to cut him out of his life. And Johnny, doesn't want to have anything to do with him anyway, but refuses the check.
I'd rather be homeless than take money from you.
Yeah, he tosses the check. So his stepdad's mad and leaves, and Johnny's mad, and he sits down to kind of relax, drink some beers, watch some TV, and then Daniel LaRusso's car commercial comes on. LaRusso Auto. And so Johnny's so mad.
Okay, wait, there's one thing I have to say about that, is that, okay, so, like, when I saw, like, all the trailers and stuff about, like, LaRusso Auto and how he was using, like, karate to, like, in his commercials and stuff, and, like, giving bonsai trees away for every customer. Like, when I first saw the trailers and stuff about that, I thought it was, like, kind of dumb. And I thought that they were, like, ruining the special, like, karate aspect of it. Because, like, I thought Daniel was using it in, like, a disrespectful way. Because, like...
It kind of feels like it, you know,
yeah,
in
like,
his commercials
okay, no.
and stuff.
Yeah, in, like, the commercials, it's like, Mr. Miyagi taught you that because he was your friend. And, like, this was, like, something you two had. And it was, like, something he, like, spent years on. He took you to, why can't I remember the name? Okinawa. And, like, he trained you there, too, and stuff. But you're here, like, 30 years later, like, using the crane kick for, like, special effects on your commercials and stuff.
Yeah, his whole auto, like, Daniel has a whole auto empire at this point. He's one of the biggest dealers in this area of Southern California, which is a big deal, right? So he's got a really nice dealership. He dresses fancy, dresses suit and tie and all that.
He's rich now.
And his whole thing is karate themed, so he's like chopping the prices and you know.
Okay, but
whatever.
the thing is that, like, I thought it was gonna, like, not even just with, like, the karate in his ads. I thought it was gonna be, like, kind of like, I thought it was supposed to be, like, a funny thing that he was, like, a car dealership and stuff. But then, like, after watching the series, I was like, oh, that's, like, not dumb. It didn't, like, ruin the show like I thought it was going to. And it didn't make him seem like a douche or anything. Like, yeah, it makes him seem like kind of a douche. But then it's also, like, but he's not completely a douche because he's still, like, really nice and, like, wholesome and, like, kind and stuff.
Well, we don't find that out here. Well, we kind of do. Like... Okay, Johnny's at home and he sees Daniel's commercial come on and he gets mad and he's you know, he takes his beer bottle, he throws it into his TV. It's been a really bad day for him. Lost his job, went to jail.
Yeah, okay, but, like, the thing with that, it's like, but Daniel worked hard and he made something of himself. And Johnny just, like, acted like a sissy and he cried about it for 30 years.
Oh, no.
And he ruined his life because he was so focused and so, like, stuck up and so just focused on that one thing that happened however long ago.
It's kind of true.
That did not have to, like, be a
There are a lot of people that get caught like that, though. Like, just speaking from an older generation, I know a lot of people who are, like, especially military, you know, who are like, this is the thing that I did in my life. And they just keep living it, like they cling to that identity.
I know, but the thing is that they were military people, and there's things with, like, post-stress traumatic disorder, I think that's how you say it.
Yeah, but I've known people who their whole identity is being, I was the basketball star in high school, you know?
I know, and I think that's so weird to, like, keep focusing on it. Like, I understand, like, so, like, there's a scene where Johnny is, like, driving downtown and he's drinking and...
Yeah,
like,
he's mad. He's in his car, the radio's blaring, it's a total 80s scene, it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool and stuff, and I like that scene, but he's, like... And he's, like, thinking of, like, the good times when he was, like, with his friends and they were all on, like, their dirt bikes and, like, when he was, like, dating Ellie and stuff. And, like, that scene is, like, oh, yeah, you know, like, I do that. Like, I remember, like, past moments and memories that I think about them. And it's like, yeah, those were, like, the good times. And he's, like, smiling and he's cool. But then, like, he thinks about the karate tournament and how, like, Daniel kicked his ass and how he lost and stuff. And he cringes at it. Like, he gets mad and he cringes. Like, that's understandable because it's, like, oh, that was, like, the karate, like, was a part of my identity and it was, like, a big part of me. And I understand that that can, like, make you upset. But I just don't understand how it could, like, follow you your entire life to the point where, like, it's the only thing you can think about and you feel like a failure, even though it was a
Well,
tiny
the thing is, though, as I think we're going to learn about Johnny, Johnny found an alternate father figure in Sensei Kreese.
Yeah, but then he realized that.
But when Daniel kicked Johnny's ass, then Kreese, rather than like being, alright, it was a good fight and shit happens, somebody's always going to lose and you could win next time, Kreese is like, you're a failure.
Doesn't he put him in a headlock and he's like choking him?
Yeah, he's
and then
beating him
Mr.
up.
Miyagi comes over and he like kicks his ass and he looks at them and he like grabs his nose and he makes the honking sound.
I'm glad we didn't have the nose honking in this series.
No, I like the nose honking. I thought that was really funny. I actually really like that.
That's a Karate Kid 2 thing, and that's like when things start going south.
You got me there. But I still liked it though.
So he pulls over at the gym or the stadium or wherever where they had the original tournament, and he's having flashbacks of his sensei beating him up in the parking lot, and then because his car is sticking out in the road a little bit, then this car with like 3 teenage girls who are texting or whatever, they slam into his Firebird.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, there's 3, and one of them is a really key player in the series. But, of course, Johnny freaks out. He's at their window. He's trying to open their door, and they get scared. So the girls do a hit and run because they're scared he's going to psycho on them. Mm. So they leave. They leave the scene.
Okay, I understand that because he did come off too strong, and he didn't just like get mad and be like, hey, you hit my car. And plus he was drunk, and they could probably tell that he was drunk and stuff, so I would see how that was scary, but it's still really shitty.
Well, he was acting violently too, I wouldn't open the door for that guy, even as a man.
I know. I wouldn't either, and I probably would drive away, but I wouldn't try to make it a whole hit and run situation. I'd immediately go to my parents and be like, hey, my friend was driving, she was texting, and we made a mistake and we crashed into the car.
Yeah, you shouldn't hide it. That's for sure.
And then explain yourself. We drove off because she was scaring us that he was acting violently. Then that's something that I can understand. But they just did a hit and run, and one of the key the girls, one of the key characters in the series, she was a nice girl, but she didn't say anything too.
Yeah, but she was in the back seat, so she probably felt a little bit excused, it wasn't her thing, but yeah, she didn't say anything either. So Johnny's just left with a crashed car. Tow truck comes, picks up his car, and he's driving away, and Johnny's like, where do I find it, and the guy's like, the card's on the invoice. So Johnny looks down, and it's LaRusso's auto dealer that he's going to have to get it, that his car's being towed to. So now, it just caps it all off, but he's got to deal with it. His car's there. So you have this scene where he goes in, he has his hoodie and flannel and stuff. He's trying to hide because he doesn't want to.
Sunglasses.
He doesn't want to encounter Daniel. So he goes into the dealership just hoping to say, let's get my car out because I want to take it somewhere else. I don't want it here.
Yeah.
But inevitably he runs into Daniel.
And that's the first glance you see of the real star here.
I guess.
No.
I don't know. So. Yeah, we do get a Ralph Macchio scene in episode 1.
Yeah.
But
it's a 3-minute scene.
And he's kind of a jerk.
Okay, well, no. I was kind of maybe he came off too strong. I didn't really think it was a jerk thing. Because he wasn't I can't speak. But he did Johnny's car for free because he felt it was a thing that he could owe him and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And he probably does think back to the whole karate tournament, and he probably is oh man, I guess that does upset you. And plus, a minute before, he did joke around with Louie and the other guy.
Yeah, that was the dick move.
Yeah,
he could have just been interfacing with Johnny, but as soon as he got Johnny, he's like, hey buddies. So he gets an awesome character in this series is Bret Ernst. A lot of people might not appreciate him, but I know him from his stand-up comedy, and so when I saw him appear in this, I was like, yes, this is the absolute best psycho Italian cousin they could have found. Just the way his eyes look when he's trying to look normal, he looks psycho. So I was very happy to see Bret Ernst as a character in this whole thing.
But I'm only 14. I don't know who that is.
You just have to watch comedy. You don't have to be any age.
I know, but
he's an upcoming comic right now.
Oh, I thought he was like an older
No, he's an upcoming one that's like kicking ass right now.
Well, I'm not into like comedy too much, so like I wouldn't know.
So yeah, I don't probably a lot of people watch this and won't recognize him, but I recognize him. And I was like, this is awesome, this is great, and it worked out because they use him
a lot
later. Yeah, they use him. So anyway, so Daniel pulls over his psycho cousin and his other cousin or whatever, and to introduce Johnny.
Boy.
But then they get into the this is the guy whose ass you kicked. Well, no,
if you want to get technical,
yeah.
I kicked his face.
Yeah. So Johnny's
okay.
Really
yes,
upset,
I see how
right?
that was like a dick move and stuff, but it's also kind of like Daniel was like.
It's in the past. Daniel's
Yeah, I see how Daniel was joking around, and not only that, he was like, this was like he was like already like this was like the toughest guy in my high school. Like he was like.
Yeah.
He
was playing him up a bit.
He was playing him up. It not like he wasn't like.
But then of course the cousins want to cut him down, and you can see Brett's trying to eyeball Johnny. When.
Okay, but the thing is,
in case something goes down.
Yeah, he was playing
I should say
him
Louis. His
up.
character's Louis. Yeah.
He was playing him up. He wasn't overdoing it to the point where he was like, yeah, he kicked my ass and stuff. He wasn't playing him up like he played himself up and stuff. But he still was like, oh yeah, this was a tough guy in my high school. We jerked around a bit and stuff. And then he was like, yeah.
I find it weird though, because to me, if I was in my shop or whatever. If I was in that scenario, I was Daniel, and my old high school nemesis came in and stuff, and I was like, hey man, and all this. My first instinct wouldn't be, I'm gonna call my cousins over here to show them, the high school bully.
I guess.
I would spend some time talking to the guy,
Okay, but with me,
just wouldn't do that.
If I was in that situation, the thing is that I don't have any I don't have any main high school enemies. It's kind of random people at my school, so it's random people who are jerks to me and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not if a bully, someone who bullied me in high school was to come in and stuff. I'd probably talk to them and be like, oh hey, I remember you, do you remember me and stuff, but I probably wouldn't have a talking with them,
Yeah, no.
Because that's kind of what you implied.
Well, okay. Here's a scenario. There's a kid who was bullied me sometimes in high school, but when push came to shove and we were gonna fight, he always chickened out. But he was still a bully, and I was there was one time, he threw this bike peg on me and split my eye open and shit. It was bad. But then when I was bleeding and I climbed down, I was going to beat him because I was up in a tree when he threw that at me. but when I climbed down, he saw my blood and I was mad. He was like, no, I'm sorry, But anyway, so this guy, I'm whatever, 22 or something. I'm working at Sears in the sporting goods store. I'm selling treadmills and shit. And
yeah, the life. I'm selling treadmills.
And Todd, in Sears, and Todd comes in, and Todd, of course, is a successful guy.
You're not supposed to use actual people's names.
I'm not saying his last name,
So you're still using his actual name.
Who cares? So he comes into Sears, he sees me there and everything, and he's like, oh, Ryan. I was like, yeah. So.
Oh, one time I cut your eye open.
He's like, oh, what have you been doing and stuff, You're working at Sears, So we had
I would have kicked his ass right then.
We had 3 minutes of back and forth, just a quick catch up, but we both know what our history was and stuff, and then Todd went on his way and I went back to selling treadmills. And, but yeah, that's more normal than me, if I was at Sears and Todd came in and I'm like, hey buddies, come here. Let me introduce you to my old high school bully.
I tried to kick his ass, but he chickened out.
Yeah, we'd have to get in, you know.
Okay, wait, did you ever kick his ass though? That's what
No, I never did.
Why?
I don't know. There were some guys whose asses I kicked, and his wasn't one of them. He got the better of me. Never kicked my ass, but the bike peg thing was the most violent thing that he
I feel like he's kind of just the guy to like call you a faggot and like run away.
Yeah, he's kind of like that.
Yeah, cause
my guy that I really like fought was Fred. We won't talk about Fred.
Oh, okay, wait, there's like one major thing that like I forgot to say. Is that like Ryan keeps saying how like he's an older generation and he's like an 80s kid and stuff.
Yeah.
But like what I really love about this series is that it's the Karate Kid and I love the Karate Kid and like I love movies like my favorite movies like Rumblefish and like The Breakfast Club, The Outsiders, The Karate Kid, and Stand By Me. And like I love all of those movies and stuff and like I watch them constantly. And like sometimes I'm not like that girl who's like in my bedroom like yeah, I cry over these actors, but it's not like I'm sitting there and like my vintage jeans and stuff and I'm like sitting there saying like I'm born in the wrong generation or anything. But like I appreciate these things and I really like them. And like it's kind of those things where it's like if I'm having like a shitty day I can like go home and like watch those movies and I like feel better because I enjoy them and stuff. And like the thing I really love about Cobra Kai is that it's still the Karate Kid, but it's also like intervening with like my generation and stuff. So it's like I feel like I can be a part of this now. So like all the 80 kids who like watched the Karate Kid like when it first came out and stuff, they were a part of it. That was like the 80s thing. And now I get to be a part of the Cobra Kai because it's like this is like the new 2018 thing, but it's still like with the whole 80s karate
Yeah,
thing.
it is really cool. Like, she brought that up when it was the other week when it first aired. And you were saying, you know, this is cool because I get to, like, be part of a new Karate Kid thing coming out. And it's different than, like, what's his name? Jaden Smith, right?
Yeah, because, like, that's not, like, anything
that's not
to do
Karate
with...
Kid.
Yeah, that's not Karate Kid. That's not at all. I've seen, like, scenes of that movie.
I watched the movie, and I appreciate the movie and everything, but it's, like, fatal flaw. It's kung fu. It's not even karate to begin with. And we're talking about Karate Kid.
Aren't they in China, too?
Yeah.
And there's this, like, I remember there's this one scene where, like, they're at a temple and there's like a bunch of other karate kids there and he's like standing on like the edge on top on like because the temple's like on the cliff and he's standing at the edge doing karate moves and it's like that's not the Karate Kid.
They should have called it Kung Fu Kid or something. I don't know. And the other thing about like this series, this new Cobra Kai series, Will Smith is one of the producers. So there is he's one of the producers. And so there is like you'll see when we watch probably the next one coming up or whatever, you'll see his name come up right away as a producer. And there is a sequel to the Jaden Smith Karate Kid coming out. So some people are saying that Will invested in this just to kind of like get people's energy going so that they'll all go see Jaden's new movie.
That's not unbelievable.
It's not unbelievable for sure, but Cobra Kai actually rocks, and I don't think anybody has a chance.
Jaden Smith has nothing on Ralph Macchio.
No, these are like characters and there's story and stuff. The story is so much more important.
Yeah, wait, I have one question. Like, because I watched it like as soon as it came out, and like I didn't even watch all of it. I watched like scenes, and like since it came out like a while ago, I was like still younger when I watched it. I only watched it once, and like I said, only scenes. So like the character Jaden Smith played, was his name still Daniel LaRusso? No, it wasn't?
No.
Oh, okay, because that's what I was thinking.
No, it was like the Karate Kid story, but set in China with kung fu and with a kid from America who him and his mom had to relocate to China because his mom had an executive position. Their company forced her to go there, so he's trying to get by in China as the new kid. And you know, there's a love interest. It's the Karate Kid story in that setting.
That's dumb. Why would they call it the Karate Kid then?
Because it's the Karate Kid story. I mean, I understand why, and it's whatever for that movie, but that's not Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai is way cool.
So like,
so far, we don't know what season 2 is gonna bring, but
I'm kind of nervous for season 2 because I really like this, but I don't know what they're gonna do in season 2, especially with the last episode. What they did in the last episode.
Oh, we should say that at the end of this episode 1, Johnny's decided he's gonna open the Cobra Kai school again.
Yeah. He took the money that Sid gave him, the stepdad.
Yeah,
and
he
just
taped his check back together. And he's gonna open a business. Because the kid brought it up, Miguel brought it up, and because Daniel, while Johnny was in the auto dealership, and
Daniel was
while Johnny was there and like still dealing with Daniel, figuring out his car, Daniel was saying, I'll cover it because it's going to cost more than it's worth. Daniel was like reaching out, trying to help him and stuff, and then Daniel's daughter showed up at the scene.
Oh yeah, and he was like, "Oh shit!" Like that's the little punk ass girl that like destroyed my car in the first place.
She was the one in the back seat of the car full of girls that did the hit and run on him. And at that point, Johnny just turned and he was leaving. And Daniel's like, wait, I got something for you. And he brought him a bonsai tree. And Johnny is like,
Johnny doesn't deserve a bonsai
So he walked out, and in the parking lot of the auto dealership, he just dropped the bonsai tree. The ceramic broke and everything. And Johnny's like, it's on. I'm starting the Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Because your punk-ass generation.
No, I have two things. I have two last things. First thing, I really like Cobra Kai. Like, it is not what I expected. It's so much better than I thought it was going to be. It's like what I wanted. And I love the first one. The second one is watchable. The third one is complete garbage. Like, I hated the third one.
Oh, the third Karate Kid?
Yeah, the third Karate Kid movie.
Yeah.
And then it's like the whole thing with like the Jaden Smith one. I like to separate those two. I like to pretend like the Jaden Smith one doesn't exist because like just from the scenes I watched, I knew I didn't like it. But from like Ralph Macchio Karate Kid, it's like yes, the first one. All right, the second one. No, hell no, the third one. And then Cobra Kai.
Really terrible.
Yeah, and then the Cobra Kai series, it's like, hell yeah, the Cobra Kai series.
Yeah, Cobra Kai is really good. You could watch the original Karate Kid and then transition right into Cobra Kai. You could. You'd miss a couple of little references, but not a big deal. Not a big deal.
Not a huge deal, but it would like kind of be like cool to watch the last two just to understand the references. But I also just wouldn't recommend it because of how shitty they were.
Yeah, number 3 is really bad. Really bad. So he's starting up Cobra Kai. And he's got this student. And he puts on his headband, which we're going to learn more about.
Oh, but the second thing, like, this is the
your
question.
generation.
Yeah, like, why is my generation the pussy generation? Like,
because you all are too damn sensitive.
No, I think being sensitive is like an own personal thing. I don't think just because like lots of kids are sensitive, that doesn't mean like every single one is sensitive and stuff. So I would rather you guys not like group together my entire generation with being sensitive. Like yes, I'm sensitive, like me personally I'm sensitive, but I don't think you need to group this whole generation together as the pussy generation because we're sensitive.
You guys are over there at the high school making up new genders and stuff so that you don't
yes.
each other,
okay, no,
right?
I agree with that actually because it's like, yeah, like you don't need like there's some genders like there's a gender called demi-boy. That is in no way, I do not think that is valid, and I am so sorry if any of you consider yourself demi-boy, but I just don't agree with that. But like trans and like gender fluid and non-binary, like those I think are valid. And it's not like there's like there are people who are like making up different genders, but that you can't just say that's all of us. It's not like I'm calling myself a demi-boy or anything.
Yeah, but that's this is what Johnny's talking about because when we were in high school, we were about chasing alley and playing.
Yeah, but you guys were so racist and sexist and homophobic.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's not like that anymore. What do you think? I want to go out and, especially because I'm a part of all of that, because I'm not white.
No, but we're gonna get into this when we get to some of the future episodes, because some of the future episodes deal more directly with this, and I want to go there right now, but I'm afraid of giving stuff away. I'm afraid of giving stuff away. Yeah, there's one episode
that like Johnny and Miguel kind of talk about sexism and stuff.
And there's stuff they get into, in the dojo itself with some of the students, because Johnny has no filter. Johnny doesn't do any of this PC stuff, and any of this, like if somebody's acting like a retard, he calls him a retard, even though we're not supposed to say that right now, right? But yeah, or if somebody's acting like a pussy, or if somebody's acting like a dork, or whatever. Like the thing with
like this generation is that like some like part of my generation doesn't have a filter, because sometimes like when I'm with my friends, I don't have a filter. So like there are times where like me and my friends do make, like jokes that we shouldn't make,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can't just say that about any of us. Because, like, me and my friend Ryan, my other friend, like, not this Ryan, my friend Ryan, that's, like, my age, so we go to school together. Like, we always call each other faggots and stuff. And we do say, like, something, like, the things that we say to each other is not really something that, like, you could really call someone in this generation and, like, get away with it,
Right. I mean, we used to play, our grade school playground game, the number one game was Smear the Queer.
See, okay, but that would not happen at my school, and I'm glad that would happen at my school. But, like, the thing is that we do have, like, an LGBT group at my school.
But it doesn't mean actually, smear, like,
okay, fine, how do you play this?
You have one ball, and you throw the ball up in the air, and you do want to get the ball, but if you get the ball, you're the queer. And that means anybody can tackle you. You're a one-man team if you're the queer. So you're just, all you're doing is you're running around the field trying not to get tackled, and everybody's after you. And when they tackle you, then you throw the ball up and somebody else is the queer.
Why can't, that could be, like, a fun elementary, like...
It is a fun game!
Then why does it have to be Smear the Queer? Like, you guys could be more creative.
I don't know, that's just what it was. It was Smear the Queer.
You dumb 9-year-old kids.
And it's not just about gender either, like, you guys don't go outside. Hey?
Well, personally, I know.
Yeah, and you and most
of my friends
of your generation.
No, not generation, friends.
Well, I guess you don't think it's kind of like wide scale that kids don't go outside? Like, I know that some do, but not like when I was a kid.
Okay, wait, the whole pussy generation thing kind of ties in with Daniel's son.
When I was a kid, you were like, go out and don't come home until the lights come on, and nobody knew where you were. There were no cell phones. Your parents couldn't check on you. You're gone.
I think that's scary, though. Okay, so since I did grow up with, like, 80s movies, because, like, my aunt, she was, like, really, like, John Hughes movies, Like, I grew up watching 16 Candles and, like, Weird Science. And it wasn't just, like, The Karate Kid and, like, The Outsiders and stuff. It was, like, I grew up on, like, John Hughes movies and stuff like that. So it'd be, like, the boombox outside and, like, running away and, like, riding on bikes to go find dead bodies in the woods and stuff. It'd be, like, having, like, these major parties, like, on 16 Candles and stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, I grew up with that, and I grew up, like, seeing that, and I, like, for, like, the longest time, I thought that that's how, like, actual teenagers act. Like,
we did.
Act. Yeah, but, like, that was, like, 80s. I was thinking, like, these are, like, this is how all teenagers are gonna act, like, forever and stuff.
Yeah.
But then, like, you grow up, and, like, I got, like, a phone on me 24/7. Like, I'm on Instagram and, all that other bullshit. And it's, like, Yeah, like, some kids are like that, but not all kids. And, like, I wanted to grow up, and I wanted to be that. Like, I wanted to be a Samantha. I wanted to be a Gordy and stuff, and, like, I wanted to do this, and I wanted to act like Chris, because I was like, oh, God, like, I want to go smoking with my friends, and, like, go find a dead body in the woods. I want to run away for, like, the weekend with my friends and stuff. Like, I want to go to massive parties where, like, everything's trashed, and, like, we're all just freaking losers here who think we're cool because we get wasted on our parents' beer and shit.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to be like. I'm not saying that's not what I want to be like. I still want to be like that, but it's different now because it's like the whole phone thing.
Yeah, it is. The phone thing is a big thing, and we're gonna see, I think, in the series, cyberbullying is one of the things.
Oh yeah.
That's a little soft to be like hugely concerned about cyberbullying, but then I guess not, because it's also cyberbullying is like broadcast to everybody, so everybody sees what's the embarrassing thing that they're trying to do to you. Right?
I feel like cyberbullying isn't as much of a problem anymore. I feel like it was more of like a 2000s problem, and everyone was like, when like laptops and iPads were new and stuff. I feel like then it was like it's still a problem and stuff, but I feel like it was more like a 2000s like huge worldwide issue. But now I don't think it's like as big as a problem as it used to be.
All right, so these are some of our perspectives on
It was
episode
like 30-minute
talk.
talk.
I know. I think we're gonna use that as one. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a Cobra Kai review playlist, and we're just gonna have each episode be one video.
Oh, so we could record like multiple.
Because nobody's gonna watch hours worth of, but they might watch a half hour of us shooting the shit. We'll see.
I mean, your videos are like what, half hour?
A lot of them are 20 minutes to a half hour. They involve rattlesnakes. So
yeah, no one wants to see this loser teenager, 14-year-old teenager
nerds that are into like the whole Karate Kid thing are gonna watch our video.
Yeah, and then they're gonna watch the video. They're gonna see me, and they're like, "Oh, this stupid like chick," you know.
I don't think so.
That's how I feel.
I don't think so. I think this is interesting. This is something nobody else is doing. It's an intergenerational review of a movie spin-off that's intergenerational.
I feel like the people who watch you are also like the people that watch like Jenna Marbles, so like older people that do like reviews on stuff and like.
Yeah, most of my audience is older. Cool. So we will end this this video and move on to episode 2.